All coming through. We'll try that again. Okay, so here we are. Today we're doing some home fries. I asked earlier to see if anybody had any favorites that they wanted to share or preferences, and that ended up on a whole tangent of we're gonna try making Cajun loaded potatoes next week, so that's a whole other recipe. But what I loved was seeing how many people are just like, yeah, potatoes are good, however you do them. And that's kind of my point with all of this. If you mess up at any stage during this, you can still get to mashed potatoes somehow. So you really can't go wrong. So for home fries, traditionally, you would use russet potatoes. I, as always, am working with whatever is on hand. And today I have several of these red potatoes that I wanted to use. I'm gonna make mine with red potatoes. There are varying opinions on how to get them exactly how you want it, because when you make home fries, you want them to have that golden outside, soft inside. So with potatoes, that can't always mean just throwing them right in the skillet. Now, if you go with small pieces and you cover your skillet and you kind of go slow and low for a while, and then uncover, you can get there. And that's generally how I do it. We're gonna go with the easy way today because I want you guys to do something that's a little bit more, just a little more foolproof, I guess. So we're gonna dice them, we're gonna parboil them, so we're just gonna put them in the hot water for a few minutes to get that cooking started. We're gonna rinse them, then we're gonna throw them in the skillet. So while they're parboiling, we'll get some peppers and onions going, and some garlic, and then we'll pull that out, we'll get the potatoes nice and gold, put it all together, and then boom, we have home fries. So here we go. I'm just gonna start dicing potatoes and hoping that somebody jumps on here soon to have a little fun cooking potatoes with me. Rachel Barber was all over here too earlier talking potatoes with me, which was a lot of fun. We both agreed that after speaking about potatoes all day, eventually you just have to make some. So she's given the garlic mashed potatoes her own spin tonight, and I cannot wait to hear how they turn out. Somebody else in the group made the stir-fried rice, and that kind of made me ridiculously happy. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody actually made one of my recipes. How stinking cool is that? All right, so, oh, and let me tip you guys down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I wanted to say, you'll notice I don't have traditional knife form, okay? If you were a real chef, you would have your knuckles and the blade would kind of be up against them. It makes me super nervous. It's not my style. So if you're looking to me to figure out the proper ways to hold your knife and slice your vegetables, go on YouTube and find some other pros who are killer at that, and they'll show you. If you want to learn how to make some good food that you can totally make at home too, you're in the right place. So size-wise on these, let me just show you. You want them about this size. If you go too small, they're gonna crumble when you toss them into boil. If you go too big, you're gonna have a hard time getting the inside as soft as you want it without overcooking the outside. Does that make sense? But as I mentioned earlier, by the way, I'm just throwing these into my colander so I can dump them in the water in a second. If you mess up, you put mashed potatoes on the menu, and no one's gonna be mad about that. And you wanna try to keep everything a consistent size. It's never gonna be exactly perfect, but the more consistent your size is as you cut, the more consistent everything is gonna cook. Does that make sense? So if you have really big pieces and really tiny pieces, it's not all gonna cook up at the same time. Now, if it happens, okay, but just something to aim for. I love these red potatoes. One of my go-tos if I'm asked to bring a dish to anything is roasted potatoes, because it's very uncommon to have allergies to potatoes. Not that nobody does, but it's generally a safer dish to bring. It goes with everything. And you can also make them really simple. You know, salt, pepper, and garlic is gonna be delicious. And you can bring fun sauces or even a seasoning mixture of your own, whatever you would put on there. You know, if you like a little heat or something, you can throw that on the side and let people spice it up as they choose. It's kind of like when we made mashed potatoes a couple weeks ago. Mashed potato cakes. Girl, don't talk dirty to me live on Facebook. I love some, they're also called potato fritters. Taking potatoes, mashing them with butter and cream, and then frying them in butter, like, you really, that's absolutely the right thing to do. When you woke up that day and decided to do that, it was the right decision. All right, well, that was quick. We've got our potatoes diced. I already have my water starting over here. It's almost to a boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and get an onion cut up for this too. So for your onions, you can slice them, dice them, big chunks, little chunks, that's all dealer's choice. Really whatever goes in your home fries, like as long as there's little golden potato chunks and salt and pepper, they're home fries. Everything else is up to you. So again, I say, oh, it's in the fridge. I have onions and I had a random bell pepper floating around from Thanksgiving, so that's what's going in mine. But you can go with, a lot of us were talking about rosemary with potatoes, very nice. Garlic, always. Sun-dried tomatoes is a nice way to spice it up. You could even throw in roasted veggies. Go spicy, don't go spicy. And I don't even know that, no, I think I'll go ahead and do a whole pastrami. What? Okay, I see it. I think for the amount of potatoes I did, one onion is gonna be more than enough. And I always find when I'm cooking potatoes, it is very easy to do too many. I feel like when they're whole, they look like they're not gonna feed as many people as when they're all cooked up and all this, all these potatoes, but like, there's worse problems to have. And I am a big advocate for keeping a Tupperware in the freezer and throw in all your leftover potato chunks, veggie chunks. If you're a meat eater, throw in your leftover meat bits from dinner, you know, that's not quite enough for a whole nother meal. And then when you get a good amount, make some really, really fantastic stew out of that. So that's actually something that I am about to get started in my freezer, and we'll learn how to make leftover soup eventually. And I know that doesn't sound amazing, but trust me, it is. And as you start to get your own going and you see what's going in there, you go, oh, that would be good. Leftover spaghetti sauce goes in there. Something else that we're gonna be making soon, by the way. All right, so I'm gonna get my skillet turned on. I'm gonna throw these potatoes in because my water is boiling. We're only gonna boil them because remember we're parboiling. So we're only gonna boil them for like 5 or 6 minutes. It's gonna be a lot of just checking to see if they're quite there. So I'll show you guys as we do that. These need to get into the pot. I did not salt my water, by the way. All right, so let's get this on. Beautiful. And let's get this bell pepper. I really wish I had more to throw in here. Oh, low network connection. Okay. Let's see if I'm back now. Okay, I'm back. You guys will have to let me know where I left off if we had a blip. I lost connection there for a minute. What I may have to do is hop back off and then come back on because I really want to be connected to Wi-Fi for this. So when I'm working with bell peppers, I slice the top off, and then there's like all the seeds and stuff. I literally just reach in there and grab that and kind of twist, and it all comes out. It's a super easy way to prep your bell peppers. And then, you know how there's always the 3 or 4 little ends? I kind of cut those into sections and work with that. It just makes it easier for cutting them. Again, that's a personal preference thing. Connection is no good. Let's see if I move you over here if it helps. Looks good. Okay. All right, we keep on. I'm telling you, the Wi-Fi in this place is so blippy. You know what? I think I'm gonna want these to be a little bit smaller. So this is some seriously ugly cutting, but yeah, so I also am, because I am away from home, I'm limited on my spices. Like when somebody was like, oh, rosemary would be good, I was like, rosemary would be good. I got that at home. So I'm gonna do salt, pepper, garlic, and then I have a little bit of the Tony Chachere's. That's such a good staple to just have on hand. It's kind of an all-purpose seasoning. You'd be amazed how many things you can throw it into. I don't think I've ever used it just by itself because I'm a little more particular with my spices, but it's good to have around. And believe it or not, it's almost time to check on these potatoes and see if they're getting soft yet. Some people also make their home fries by doing just really thin slices of potatoes and frying them in the skillet, skipping that parboiling step. So if that's your speed, do it. All right, we're gonna throw these onions on. I'm gonna just do a little bit of olive oil in the skillet. I've got it on about medium heat, just a touch above. As you guys have heard me already gripe about, and for those of you who haven't, I'm cooking on a glass top, which is not my stove of choice. I use gas at home. And this is the second condo that we've been in since we've been here. The first one had like great skillets, everything you could possibly want. There were, I kid you not, 7 crock pots in that kitchen. And then we moved to this one and all of the pans are like bowls. None of them lay flat. So thankfully, being who I am as a person, I brought one of my Calphalon skillets with me. So that has been almost exclusively what I've been using since I've been here. So anyways, I'm throwing a little bit of oil in the bottom of that. That was a random tangent. Oh, I don't have lids. I don't have lids for any of these. There's an entire pot and pan set, and there's an entire lid set. They don't go together. So that's always really interesting. Is it took me that first day that I was in this kitchen, I was like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Why can I not figure out which is the right size lid? And then I learned that there's no such thing as a right size lid to any of these. So I may be bringing a little bit more of my kitchen back with me when I come back next week. Gorgeous. Oh, it's gonna start smelling good in here. All right, let's check on these potatoes. I don't know if y'all remember, or if you watched my mashed potato video, I was looking for it to like press through really easy, but not quite crumble. I wanted a little bit more firm for this, so that took a little push. I'm literally gonna give it one more minute. We're gonna drain these and we're gonna get them in the skillet in a second. Because the other thing is they're so hot and they're holding all of that hot water. If you pull them out right when they're perfect, they're gonna cook a little bit more. So then they're gonna be overcooked. So you kind of wanna pull them like right before they're perfect. All right, so that, should we put garlic in there or just garlic salt? Any opinions on that? Another tip for when you are doing onions, don't stir them to death and don't cover them up if you want them to get that little bit of gold into them. So they shouldn't be crowded in the skillet. You don't want to trap the steam in there, and you don't want to mess with them too much. So I've kind of got them in there. I gave them a quick toss just to get the olive oil on everything, but I'm not going to mess with them too much. As soon as I know they're starting to get golden, I'll give them a stir. But other than that, I'm going to kind of leave them alone. Let's go ahead and dump these potatoes out. Y'all bear with me. Woo. Anybody else has got the super cool glasses fog when you cook? All right, and I'm gonna give them a quick rinse with some cool water just to bring that temperature back down because I don't want them to keep cooking, right? So give me just a second. Beautiful. All right, this is a decent amount. Okay, great. I stuck the fork in and y'all didn't see how that went. Let's try that again where you can actually see. All right, let's get a potato out of here. Are they a little too hot to touch? I'm a tough girl, I can take it for you guys. So here's our potato chunk. These were that perfect size, right? Whew, it is still pretty hot. So fork went in okay. It took some work, but it wasn't like stabbing a raw potato, but we weren't quite at mashed potato status. So now that we gave these a quick rinse, they're still pretty hot, but I allotted for that. So it's okay. We're gonna leave them be. Onions are gonna take a minute. I guess I will go ahead and chop up some fresh garlic, and maybe our onions will be to the point where we can throw our peppers in too. Normally I would just have 3 different skillets going. That's why I was telling you guys about my whole skillet situation, because I only have 1 pan to work with right now. Fun times, but gotta be resourceful. Maybe not every single person who cooks has an entire set of Calphalon and their favorite stove to work with at all times. You still gotta feed people, right? All right, there's never such a thing as too much garlic. Ooh, I have a request for next week too. We're gonna do a Mediterranean night. Who wants to learn how to make really good hummus? You want to, don't you? Speaking of garlic, that got me thinking about it. We're gonna do hummus and tzatziki and all sorts of roasted veggies. We're gonna make toasted pita. Oh, it's gonna be a good day in the kitchen. It might be like for hours and hours for that one. We'll see. Anybody have any questions so far for me? I'm guessing you can hear me okay, because I see that I have a few people watching and nobody has told me they can't hear me. I also know sometimes with Facebook Lives, people ask a question and it doesn't come through until you're like so far into the future that you don't even know what the question was in regards to. So that could be happening too. There may be questions floating out there in Facebook land. Skin is really sticking on these. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna bring this over here so you can see. So I don't know if you can tell, but if you look closely, oh here, let me just flip one over. So what I was looking for was that little bit of brown on the edge. So see, now that I see that, and again, that's down, so you have to look for it. Now I know it's time to shake these up a little bit. Okay, so look. Great, right? All right, so now I'm gonna throw my peppers in with it. I'm gonna add a little touch more olive oil. Not much. Let's get our papers out of the way, our garlic skin, and I'm just gonna scrape these on in there with it. The reason I did not cook them together is because I didn't want to crowd my onions and not get any of that nice char on them. And also I like a little bit more bite left on my peppers. So we're gonna get these cooked up to the point where I want them. I'm gonna pull them out. I'm gonna golden up my potatoes a little bit, and then it's all gonna go in together at that point. Again, because we're working with one skillet. It's also a good time to go ahead and add in a few shakes of salt. Kind of helps cook out that water a little bit faster. Y'all hear me talk about that a good bit, the wateriness of vegetables. I think that often that's part of the turnoff. Why people say they don't like certain vegetables is because they've had them and they've been just watery and bland. And I don't hold that against anybody. Who wants watery, bland food? That's like frozen vegetables are a sin. There's a rare occasion where it's okay to use frozen vegetables, and home fried is not one of them, okay? Sometimes soup, I guess. Pot pies, it's swimming in gravy. Is it more delicious fresh? Yeah. But it's swimming in gravy, so you kind of can't be too mad at it. All right. Good stuff. And I think that's more than enough garlic. Scoop this out of the way. When I cook at home too, I have a special bowl just for all of my little veggie scraps as I go. One day I'm gonna have a great big farm and I'm gonna have a whole bunch of chickens in the yard, and I'll just throw the stuff out to them or to my goats in the meantime. So if you have a veggie chopper, which I highly recommend, just the easy little Cuisinart ones that you can pick up pretty much everywhere, even Target has them. They're like cylindrical, and then they have a mash down. And you put your veggies in the middle and you just smack it and it makes all sorts of noise. Highly recommend that. If I had one in my kitchen, that is how I would be chopping up this garlic. But what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna slice it all really nice and thin. I'm not even really mincing it, I'm just getting teeny tiny paper thin slices. So that's what I'm doing because I don't have a chopper. I don't feel like mincing garlic all day. And no one in this house is gonna be mad if they get a big piece of garlic, I promise. And we're gonna throw the garlic in with the potatoes. All right, let me give these a quick stir. The other benefit to adding a bunch of different veggies into your home fries is it's just beautiful. I love a good colorful plate. It's also a nice opportunity to sneak veggies in if you've got younger people in your family, or even lots of grown people aren't super vegetable crazy. If you add small portions of lots of different types of veggies, you'll find that you can get people to eat more of them. That vegan bake that I did that everybody was so crazy about, it was funny because I made it and it was just something that I kind of was inspired by what was around. I sure didn't follow any kind of a recipe or even anything I had done before. But I was laughing because I was like, this has something for everyone that they don't like, because it had mushrooms and onions and tomatoes. So like all these things that people are generally like, I don't like that. But it was so many different things and such small amounts of everything that like you could get over it. And then it was delicious. I don't think anybody, even if it wasn't their favorite things in there, nobody was off put by that beautiful array. And it was so gorgeous and colorful. And we will learn how to make tofu scramble eventually too. I have so many ideas. I'm really excited to be doing these lives with you guys. All right, I'm gonna pull these out and it's potato time. So you could cook your potatoes in vegetable oil or olive oil or canola oil if that's what you had around. Please, if you have margarine in your refrigerator right now, go throw it out. It's so gross. I'm gonna use a little bit of Kerrygold butter though, because it just has a great flavor. I like cooking with it. My skillet may be a little hot. I just realized that because we've had it on for so long, and it's a glass top, so there's no way to cool it down. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down a little bit. So, you usually would use, if you were cooking russet potatoes, about a tablespoon of oil or butter per potato. I used red potatoes, and I think I used 4 or 5, and I don't feel like there's any need to have that much butter in there, okay? I know, even I'm saying that. So we're gonna do about 2 tablespoons. We'll see how that goes. You'll know if you didn't use enough because everything's gonna start sticking, so that's easy. All right, beautiful. I'm gonna throw my garlic down first, just for a minute. Oh, heavenly. I don't care what I'm cooking. As soon as garlic and butter get together, I want Alfredo. Like right then, I don't even wait to have to cook it. I want it. I have everything in the fridge right now to make some Alfredo sauce too, so this is especially dangerous. I should have used up all the garlic because now honestly later I might have to make some. All right, so if you're just joining, these are our parboiled potatoes. We cooked them for, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 minutes. In boiling unsalted water, just to get them to the point where I can demonstrate again now that they're not so hot. You want your potato to be able to be pierced, in no way crumble, and have a little pushback. When you make mashed potatoes, you want them to be a little softer than this, but because we're gonna cook them again, get them nice and golden, they're gonna be a little crowded in the skillet. So it's gonna be a little harder to get them golden, but we're gonna make it happen. So I'm gonna throw these in now that we have our garlic in. All right, so a lot like with our onions, when you're trying to get it golden, you've got to not mess with it too much. I feel like when people, especially when you're new in the kitchen and you're like terrified of burning things or overcooking, you feel like you got to stir constantly. Let's back up too. Please don't use silverware in your skillets. Use a spoon, okay? I like wooden, that's my favorite. Anyways, you don't want to tear up your pans by scraping them to death. And food browns more nicely when you kind of just leave it be. When you're cooking a hamburger, you don't flip it. No, you flip it, one time. You start on one side and you flip it until it's done. Potatoes, same thing. Onions, when you want to get them nice and golden. Now, if you're trying to sweat them out and get them really soft, then yeah, you can cover them and stir them however much you want, but that's not what we're doing today. So, we're gonna let them set for a second, get a little golden. Let's take a look at our veggies while we're waiting on that though. So pretty. Here they are. And since we kind of have a second, bear with me. I'm gonna see if we can't get our Wi-Fi back. Hold on. Nope, it immediately started recording. Okay, hopefully we're back. That didn't work. Okay. And I messed up my whole setup here. Okay. Woo. Lord. All right, so that's our onions and our peppers. Right now we have garlic and potatoes in the skillet, our parboiled potatoes. They're looking good, nice and sizzly. I'm gonna turn it back up a little bit because I turned it down. Okay, so that first little rest, I'm gonna bring a potato over for you. Not that one. There you go, this one showed us a little bit. So see how it just barely added a little bit of color to the side that it was on? We really could have left it a little bit longer before I started tossing it around. But it is what it is. And again, I am a little overcrowded in here. And turn it up a little bit. So if you had chosen not to parboil, what you would be doing at this point is you would actually cover them for a little bit, salt them up real good, and let them soften in the skillet, and probably give it a stir around maybe every 3 or 4 minutes. But we chose to parboil because we didn't want to risk having crunchy potatoes when we're trying to get like that nice softness with the crispy on the outside. So I hope that makes sense. Does anybody have any questions so far about home fries? Any wild suggestions you want to throw out? No? All right, so here's the thing. I'm not gonna keep you live while we wait on potatoes to cook. You've got the gist of how I'm gonna stir them around. As soon as they're ready, I'll bring you back when we add the potatoes, the peppers and onions back in and season them up, okay? And I'm gonna see if I can't figure out my Wi-Fi in the meantime. And if you guys have any questions, hit me with them and I will answer it when we come back, okay? See you guys in a little bit. Oh, okay. I got my Wi-Fi back. So y'all just have to let me know if you're losing picture. I tried to rewatch a little bit of the other one and it looks like sometimes the picture is not so hot. So we'll work on that. These potatoes are looking good. I missed some comments. None of those were coming through. So to answer a couple of questions that came through, actually one was not a question. Carrie Gold is live. Another question, can you parboil ahead and then make them the next day? Yes. You know what I did when I realized that I was gonna be crowding the heck out of my skillet was I saved some so I can make some fresh to go with Rick for breakfast tomorrow. So yeah, absolutely, parboil them, give them a good rinse so they don't get starchy sticky, and seal them up good. They may change color a little bit, but oxidation doesn't kill you. Just makes a funny colored potato, and by the time you've golden them up, it doesn't matter. So, because these are all nice and hot, I'm actually gonna bring my skillet over here so you guys can actually see as we finish up this process. They look really good. And if you look at what time the last live ended and then look at the time now, it would tell you how long it takes, but really you're just gonna go by color. They finished up like a half a notch above medium was that perfect cooking point for them. Again, uncovered. Don't cover them up or you end up with steamy, fall apart, crumbly potatoes, okay? So let's turn our eye off. And they're so crowded. It's about to get more crowded, but here they are. Are they not gorgeous? I think you guys can see. I think if I tip you down anymore, you might fall. We might try it in a minute. So here we go. I'm gonna add in our peppers and onions. I wish you guys could smell this place right now. That's my favorite thing about cooking. And I don't eat meat, but like even when I cook some of the meaty stuff, it's my favorite thing. I don't think I hardly ever have candles burning in my house because it just always smells like food and I love it. It reminds me of my grandmother's house. Okay, So this is my ratio that I went with. You can just kind of see. So beautiful, so colorful. Take a look at these potatoes. So that was like the goldenness that we were going for. Let me see if I get the light to come through a little better. Nope, shouldn't have tried it. Shouldn't have messed with it. Okay, oh, no. Potato down, okay. Don't be fooled, I'm gonna eat that potato. No shame, but I'm not gonna put it back in the skillet because other people are gonna eat this later. All right, so the only thing that we salted, if you remember, was the peppers when we added them to the onions. So this is gonna be bland city right now. I love potatoes, but I do not love them saltless. So, I'm gonna add in a shake of salt. Not too much because I am gonna add a little garlic salt as well. I really don't ever cook with garlic salt at home. You actually cannot find any in my personal spice cabinet, but it's here and that's what I'm using. And Scott and somebody else, I want to say it might have been Steph, we're talking about going Cajun with potatoes. I am actually going to throw in a little bit of Tony Chachere's. If any of y'all know Tony, yourself telling him he owes me $5 for this spotlighting Tess in the kitchen. I want to make a little money for this, okay? And some fresh cracked pepper. Yum, 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 yum. So I hope that this felt really doable. Like, if you notice, this really did not take very long. It is something that you can kind of prep ahead. You could have your veggies pre-done. You could parboil your potatoes. If you're trying to impress somebody with breakfast, this is such an easy way to do it. All of the restaurants like J. Christopher's that do the breakfast skillets, this is the foundation for it. These delicious potatoes. You can also make these 100% all the way ahead of time. They reheat really, really well. Nothing is ever as good reheated as it is fresh, except for, you know, pasta. But make it ahead. This is a good staple. It goes well at any time of day. But like if you want to do a breakfast skillet, oh my gosh, whew, I'm getting excited thinking about food options. You could put goat cheese and sun-dried tomatoes and mushrooms in it. Or, let's see, you could do like bacon, cheddar, and a dollop of sour cream, or avocado would be heaven on top of this. You could go Southwest, you could go really Italian with it and do like the fire roasted tomatoes and some more peppers. Like, my mouth is watering. There's just so many different things that you can do with this. So it's a good one to get comfortable with. Stuff like this is also great to throw into soups and stews. Have it alongside pretty much anything. You can't go wrong. So easy to make. I'm gonna set it to the side and it's gonna get reheated for dinner. It also makes a great base for a breakfast casserole. It's my favorite food. Oh, thank you, Courtney. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, I'm like peeking around and trying to see the rest of the comment. Right now, my phone is being held up. It's sitting on top of a casserole dish on the bar to get you guys high enough so that you're not just chest level with me. It has a tripod behind it that I thought was gonna be great for this, but I can only hold it in the tripod on landscape mode, and I look crazy because I don't know where to look. So I look like I'm just staring off into the distance. I can't use it that way. So that's behind it, and then in front of it is a can of stuffed grape leaves, keeping it from tipping over so you guys have enough tip to see in here. So that's why I'm like trying to see around to see what you're commenting. So anyways, that's my little spiel about trying to make this work in this kitchen. So yeah, now y'all know how to make home fries. I want to see pictures. I want to see you do it. I know some of y'all have potatoes in your house and you have veggies in the fridge that are about to go bad. So get them out, make some home fries, share your pictures, be brave, you've got this. And anytime, hit me up in my messages, comment on here, ask questions. I'm here for it. I love it. And you guys are the best. If I don't see any questions pop up soon, I'm gonna go. So I'll give it just a second. And I really do mean it. I love being able to do this, and it like makes me really giddy to see that y'all actually watch it. And I may or may not have cried a little when I saw that somebody made my fried rice. It felt really good. All right, y'all are amazing. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and maybe we'll get to cook something up tomorrow. Okay, bye.